During the early days of the Sith Empire, many great Sith would rise to power, and many would fall, but very few would be as powerful or as influential as Exar Kun was probably the strongest Sith of his time, and possibly of all time, but not in the dark side of the Force, but rather in his lightsaber skill. His power was unlike almost any Sith ever. He was so powerful that he would bring the Republic crumbling down to its knees without any help. Like most Sith before turning, Exar Kun was a Jedi Knight, but would fall astray from the Order and would join the ranks of the Sith, and there his journey to power would truly begin. After accessing the most powerful dark side secrets, he would become so powerful that he could freeze an entire room with a single thought. That is just one of the many achievements he would acquire, others including inventing the double-sided lightsaber, destroying the Jedi homeworld of Ossus, and killing the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic. It is safe to say that if it was not for his Padawan killing him, he might have destroyed the Jedi Order and the Republic for good and brought back the Sith Empire. Something that many Star Wars fans overlook is his time as a Jedi and how he viewed the Sith. Like many Jedi, he hated the Sith. But unlike them, who would have been drawn closer to the light side of the Force to prevent them from turning into the very thing they hated, Exar Kun would spend his time practicing lightsaber combat to become the best duelist in the entire galaxy to prepare himself for the Sith Empire. It was from this belief that he thought he should be allowed to study and practice the dark side of the Force to find a way to utilize the knowledge against the Sith. But his master would not allow him to study it, believing that his apprentice has become arrogant and proud. Although he was denied by his master, he would continue on to study it anyway, and would be caught multiple times, and every time his arrogance would get the better of him and he would ignore them, because he believed he was strong enough to resist the urge of the dark side. He also grew irritated that he was not a Jedi Knight, even though he was at the top of his classes, and during one of his sparring sessions with the other Padawans, he would get so aggressive that he almost killed the Padawan, at which point his master would intervene and it would engage Exar Kun in a duel with only a wooden stick, but not even the Jedi Master could defeat his Padawan. After this, Exar Kun would leave the Jedi Order, going on his own journey. Shortly after leaving the Order, he would come across the tomb of Freedon Nod. After that, the spirit of the dead warrior would persuade and influence Exar Kun into joining the dark side, and from there, his powers in the Force and in combat would only grow. His power in lightsaber combat would grow so much, he would basically become unstoppable. It should also be stated that Exar used Form 6 known as Namad. Some of its names are known as the True Jedi's form and the Diplomat's form, due to it being used by Jedi counselors who did not typically use their lightsaber unless it was absolutely necessary. It was basically a combination of the other 5 lightsaber forms. But typically, it made it so the Jedi who used it was well-rounded, but not a master in any of the forms. But Exar Kun would prove that to be wrong. As time went on, less and less Jedi would use this form. But one Jedi who did use this form was the best duelist in his time, that being Master Sindralik, who viewed this form as the most practical out of all the 7 lightsaber forms. Form 6 also had no major disadvantage and no major advantages either, which made it very useful for many Jedi. But it should also be stated that Exar Kun did not master Form 6, but rather studied it and then improved on it in many ways. But probably the reason he was so powerful and undefeated is because of his lightsaber. At the time, there was no double-bladed lightsabers, so Jedi nor Sith knew how to combat this. His hilt was also very different from any other lightsaber. His hilt was the same size as a regular lightsaber, due to him viewing a longer hilt as a disadvantage. Exar would also utilize the lightsaber form of Jakar in a way due to his double-bladed lightsaber. And all of this would make Exar Kun not only the strongest Sith of his time, but the best lightsaber wielder of all time. In conclusion, Exar Kun was undoubtedly the best lightsaber duelist of all time. His usage of the dark side, Form 6, and double-bladed lightsaber all played into why he was so powerful. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Who is your favorite Sith? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.